Imagine you've implemented everything using the wrong technology. It would be a disaster unless you have Manus. Then Manus can fix it very quickly for you. In today's episode, working with Manus, we continue and follow up on the development of our PPT manipulation software. In this episode, we just gave Manus the specification that we generated in episode 11. We made a few modifications because not everything was 100% perfect, and we just told Manus, create a full VBA project as described in the attached specification. Let's see what happens. Manus reads through the documentation, creates the files one by one, looks okay, and then at the end, it has all the development done. Pretty happy with the result. Creates a readme.me file because Manus will not be able to put everything into a properly formed Visual Studio project. So it gives instructions, and there are things that have to be done manually in the Visual Studio interface. So these are instructions for the user to complete the task that Manus knows it's not able to complete. Then all the files are here. I'm lazy, I don't want to download the files one by one, so I'm asking for a full zip file with everything inside. And it's done, so I can download my file. Let's look at the source code. Here it is. So we have the README, as Manus explained, and then we have our source code, all the forms and everything. Now, this is not enough to create a project. There are more files and there's a structure that needs to be created. So we have to create a project inside Visual Studio, and then we have to import these elements one by one, or as a folder by folder by folder. So it is still saving us a lot of time, but you absolutely need to know what you're doing when you use AI to generate code. You have to understand what are the requirements and how do you compile. And later on, we will see in a future episode that you also need to fix the software because there are probably bugs out there. And then we realized we made a big mistake because PowerPoint add-in are not developed in VBA. They used to be in earlier version of PowerPoint. They were developed in VBA, but now, as we can see here, everything is developed in HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. So we've been using the wrong technology. We are one generation behind. And Manus gave us that idea that VBA was an option, but actually Manus was probably looking at information that is outdated. Realizing that, we don't want to stop. I mean, we do need that project to go through. So we are asking Manus to use the new technology. All right. So we're telling Manus, sorry, PowerPoint is not using VBA anymore. Now it's using JavaScript, HTML. And to make sure that Manus is looking at the right information, and this is critical when using agents, we're giving it the source of information. So we find the training course on Microsoft website about how to develop a PowerPoint add-in, and we're pointing Manus into the right direction. Because the whole reason we are using the wrong technology and the wrong information is because we let the AI choose its own source of information, and it got the wrong one. It got the wrong one because it probably has way much more documentation on the old technology that was there for many years than on the new technology that has been maybe for 3 or 4 years. So working with an agent, either you give it the information or you point it in the right direction to make sure it's using accurate information. So Manus very diligently says, okay, it's going through the documentation quite quickly, scrolling, understanding the API, everything, and then starting to develop again, starting to redevelop everything under this new technology, again, giving us a README file to assemble it afterwards. And now it's also remembering that I wanted something to be a zip file. So now I have a second zip file. Let's look at the second project. Let's look at the source code that was generated. So here, different organizations still have a README to give instruction to the user. And now we have what we were looking for. We have HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So now we have the same project completely redeveloped in a few minutes
in the technology that we wanted, using the documentation from Microsoft, using a trusted source of information that we know is using the right technology.
It will be the topic of one of our next episodes. Does it compile? Now, I'm very curious to understand if everything that's been developed in Manus in such a short time and redeveloped from scratch is going to work.